So you mentioned before that like real life court doesn't look like it does on TV, but like where in your experience, how do you see people coming in and like having misconceptions? Like, can you point to some things that are really different between real life, real life court and TV court?
I think like Evan hit the nail on the head for one thing. It's that TV kind of gives you the expectation that trials are over and done with within a couple of months of something happening, right? So something happens on Law and Order and Olivia Benson arrives and investigates a heinous crime. And then with, in 2 months, they're at trial trying to determine whether or not this guy's guilty, which I don't know a whole ton about the criminal context, but I know definitely speaking to my criminal law friends, that's definitely not true. It can sometimes be a year or two or sometimes 3 before the person actually gets their trial day. So I think, if you kind of extrapolate that into our context as family lawyers, there's often clients who think that you can just get into court in the next day or 2, right? So just file your documents and get there and you get your day in court in front of the judge. But that's generally not how things work, particularly in light of all these new mechanisms that the courthouse has set up in response to COVID-19. And then we've got... I think the other big misconception is that, TV is based on American courts, and we're in Canada here where we're based on a system of having, I think, wearing the robes for one thing, not being able to stand up and make a big soliloquy and walk in front of the jury box and stand up and do whatever we want. So the court itself just looks a lot different because we're standing at a podium for hours on end, sometimes making our submissions. So that's another big difference. Can I tell you the one thing that bugs me? Yeah. No, go ahead, Kim, and then we'll talk about the one thing that bugs me.
I'll make a note of that, Joanna. We'll come back to it.
I didn't know you guys didn't go up and give your opening remarks and your closing remarks. I didn't know that you can't do that in Canada. You guys are pinned to the ground in your little box?
Pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, you're pretty, I guess it depends on your venue, right? But you're pretty limited in time. You're limited by procedure. Like you don't just sort of like show up at a trial and.
Well, I mean, I think part of it too is everything's recorded. And so the microphones they use are, I don't think they're really designed to pick up the entire room. So you stay at the podium because that's where the mic is. I think that's like practically speaking the reason why. I think theoretically you probably could pace in front of the jury if you wanted.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It would be weird.
Would be weird.
Yeah, if you had a jury.
Yeah, that's another thing. If you had a jury.
Yeah. But I also think there's kind of that invisible barrier between you as counsel and the judge that you're really not supposed to cross without permission, right? So, but
yeah, you're
well,
sort of
right
supposed
in TV. They're always saying like permission to approach the bench.
Right.
Do you say that, Joanna?
Never once in my life, and have the judge cover the microphone so nobody can hear them. Never happened. Has it happened to you, Heather?
No. Or they're always meeting in judges' chambers too. They're always going to the back room. Have you noticed that? I've never done that.
Our judges' chambers are public.
Right.
True.
Yeah.
It would be effective.
Mm-hmm.
Can we meet in chambers, Your Honor? That's where we are.
Right. Yeah, there's no side conversations going on.
No, it's true.
That's amazing. I thought you guys would be able to caucus in some capacity with the judge about some, sensitive topic. No, you can't do that. Okay.
No. The only thing I can think of it would be like pre-trial stuff, right? Where you might have a judge who's helping you with process and saying like, this is what you're going to do next. And you're having meetings with them, but they're never the person that's hearing the case then and deciding it. So yeah, I've never even really thought about that, but that's another big difference, isn't it?
Yeah, that you've never actually been called get into my chambers and we'll talk about this.
Yeah.
Because most of those discussions would be on the record and recorded. So.
Exactly. Yeah.
So what really bugs you, Joanna?
Yeah.
What really bugs me? It always really bugs me when you get the glimpse into the lawyer's office, like on Suits, and there's no files on their desk, and all they're working on is a 12-inch MacBook. You know, like that's their computer. And then when they do hand them a file folder, it's like, you know, just the letter size file folder with one sheet of paper in it.
Right.
When in reality, it's like, you know, you're kind of making a fort out of all the files on your desk. And some of them are like 3 file folders big. And the more screens you have as a lawyer, like the more glamorous you kind of are. Like if you've got 4 screens set up, like you're
You
really
made it.
Wow.
made it as a lawyer. Yeah. Like I don't know any lawyer who exclusively works off of a 12-inch MacBook.